So my whole life I've been studying business. I wanted to be an accountant even when I was little. I loved pushing the numbers on the little checkout register, and when I was in high school I took all the business classes. I took accounting class on the DOS system. I'm aging myself because the DOS system was actually like the first, like when you got into the computer, you had to like know coding the DOS system in order to, so it was actually code in order to open up the systems and applications. So that's what I learned accounting on. Then I went to Metro Tech and I took accounting classes. I did a bunch of entrepreneurs classes. At the time it was called, it was called Entrepreneur, but now it's called Startups in Phoenix College. And then when I decided to go full time to actually finish my degree, I changed my major to finance. So from finance, I went into IT in my career. So learning everything. Then let me backtrack a little bit. So my dad used to always have these side hustle businesses, and even from like, I think I was like a freshman, sophomore in high school. I can't even remember. I know I was in high school, and he would give me like, oh, you want to be an accountant? You could be my accountant for me. So I absolutely loved getting his shoebox full of receipts, and I would tally them up together. My sister would do some of his executive level because we were part of his corporations that he would have, and because he would establish his business legally. And so we would be sitting there, having our little meetings and talking business, and I know a lot of people didn't have that growing up. And like I tell my grandson, like I had met one time I was talking to real estate, and then this kid behind me starts talking real estate to me, and as I'm talking to him, he sounds like a freaking 85-year-old man, and he was just like 17-year-old kid. I'm like, how do you know so much information? He had 3 generations of realtors in his family. So with my dad teaching me a lot about business and real entrepreneur spirit, like that's why I called my business Across the Table, because I want to be that voice to you in my community where we sit down and talk about business. We talk about numbers. We talk about strategies. The pandemic hit. I had some my own money. I had investors. I got a business loan. I was ready to start my own business, and I was also considering buying a business. So I'm out there looking at businesses to purchase, and no one had their numbers together. It's hard to do. It's more of a trust thing when you do that, and people do that even without signing contracts. So I'm just like, I want to teach people how to know ahead of time what to expect, how to strategize, understand their numbers, understand business. And I know people say just open up the doors. That's great to do, but you also have to be willing to learn. You also have to be willing to hire experts in the industry. You don't have to know everything, but keep an open mind and hire the people who do, who specialize in that field, like HR, marketing. I'm diving into some different like marketing and even AI stuff because I want to have systems in place where I'm proactively working with my clients. So even I created this thing called CEO mindset, because I remember even when I went into the corporate America world, I was like so nervous to attend one of my first executive meetings, and the way they were talking was like, oh, we're gonna put that in the parking lot and let's circle back, and all these cold word language, like what does that mean? Like my head was spinning and I was so nervous, and I started creating like little cheat sheets. So I was always creating desk procedures or SOPs, and I would give it to people who were new to the position. Like I'm sure someone who's out there used to work with me in accounting and or familiar with who I am and how I would write documentation. When I became management, I would write documentations to train my staff so they could understand how to do their job instead of me like lecturing and tell them they're wrong. Like I would kind of like push a little manual to them and show them and have us teach together. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing all this because even I had to like, how am I going to present this to people? How am I going to find my clients? How am I going to spread my knowledge to business owners who are making money, but they may not be making their business to scale? If you're taking money out of the till, if you're trying to, fudge the numbers for taxes, if you're not paying your employees right, if you don't have a bookkeeping system, if you're not measuring your metrics and understanding all the cost implications into, your office supplies or your marketing expenses or your budget and forecasting for the next few years, like, this is what I want to teach you. When you're able to do that and you have SOPs and you have procedures and you have good employees and you have the tools that I'm creating to allow you, I'm creating something like a one-man show. If you're a one-man show entrepreneur business, I'm creating apps and systems will allow you to manage your whole department in a one-man show, to simplify processes and procedures, to show you things you need to do, checklists and budgets and forecasts, and plug and play your numbers to get your ratios and understanding your ratios. So that's what I'm doing. But I was showing you the booklets that I was doing. So now I'm going to put them into apps. So you can use it when you're ready on the go. You don't have to be at your desk. You don't have to have a pen and paper. But I do believe in pen and paper because it starts out slow and rudimentary, and as it goes, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Because I promise you, the more you listen and hear it again and again and again, it's going to be ingrained in your brain. And when you're ready to scale, you can actually walk into like a Shark Tank experience, or they're going to, see what you know and what you don't know, and see if you have the answers to the questions that they need you to have. Because when an investor invests with you, they want to X amount their investment. They don't want to just give you an investment so you could go to Hawaii. They want to know that their money is 10x. Even when you spend your marketing dollars, how is it going to 10x your marketing dollars? If you're not analyzing your marketing dollars and you're just spending, you don't even know who your customers are. You can't even identify who your customers. You don't even know your competitors. Like, you don't know their pricing. You don't know what the person's charging right next to you. Like, all that type of stuff is how you create a business. You could be making money, but do you have a business to scale? And every business should have to be scaling, and they should always have an exit plan, because you don't know. Like my dad, he had a couple of really great ideas and great businesses, but I didn't know what we were missing. And when he couldn't be there at the job anymore, the business closed down. It just shut down. That means zero money. No more money came in. So no business should operate like that. If you have a business, you should be operating it to scale. Which means when you're ready for whatever random point, day, and time, you can sell the business. You're not just giving, like, there was this one place that was just trying to, like, pretty much give me the lease for, 10 times the lease value. They weren't giving me any clients. They weren't giving me anything besides the location. I needed more than that. Like, give me customers, give me your marketing strategies, give me discounts in your vendors, like, give me things. That's another thing, discounts and vendors and negotiation skills on your leases. And there's so much to business. That's why there's a 4-year degree. That's why there's a master's degree. And I happen to have that. And I want to show you what I've learned. College is so expensive now. You don't need to do that. And I'm literally giving away everything. My apps are going to be very affordable for small businesses. They're going to allow you to just checklist and checkpoints and questions, and it's just I'm making it so interactive and easy to use, easy to understand. Pick up the phone, give me a call. Like, I truly believe big corporations right now is gonna people are stepping away from business. Small business is the way to go. People feel they want to spend their money in small businesses. This large corporate conglomerate billionaires, like, I'm over it. I'm literally effing over the billionaires. If I could find a local small business, I could buy a resale item. I'm doing that. I have been frugal like that for years, but now it's like, it's the thing to do. Small businesses are coming up, and with this, the way the economy is, it'll just like Jack in the Box, Starbucks, they close a lot of stores. So you're seeing all these empty Starbucks, all these empty Jack in the Box. That gives you the opportunity to open something there. It doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could be a shoe store, a clothing store. It could be a sign business. It could be a pool store. There's so many opportunities that are going out there. I even have this thing, an app that I created that does this whole calculation on what your business, compare cash flow to EBITDA, and then what your business evaluation is based on what your industry is. Shit like that. Like, this is all in my effing brain. Like, so I created the whole calculation in the app, which I'm going to be launching, and it'll show you like, okay, if you create your business right to scale within a short amount of time, like, people think that they could open a business and they could go get a business loan from the bank. The business loans are way at the bottom of the totem pole. Banks do not want to give businesses who are risky, and many businesses are risky, especially if they're not paying their taxes right or doing the bookkeeping right. They're risky. So that's the bottom of the totem pole. When I was in banking, people would come in and I would see the great disappointment because, you know, I would be the middle person because I was assistant banking center manager, and people were like, oh, I want to get a business loan. I'm like, you need X, Y, and Z paperwork, and come back and we'll do the appointment, blah, 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 and they would meet with the other department. And then they would come back and, you know, I would see them and wanting to hear the good news, and then the sadness in their faces that they didn't qualify. They were planning to scale to get this big contract and big something that they needed that extra funding so they could get to leverage their business, and they couldn't do it. And the disappointment, because they were running the business wrong day 1, year 3, year 4, year 5, and so they were risky. The bank didn't lend them money. So all this stuff that I'm going to teach you, like, I want to have workshops and seminars and phone calls and my apps, like, please utilize them. There has so much information that will help you be ready. Like, I honestly feel that a business can start. I'm going to give you so much tools that if you implement all the tools I give you, and you show that your business, and you show profits in your margins and everything, you could turn it into a franchise and you could sell it, or sell it just and sell it. Like, I remember one of the first times me and my dad had a taco truck, and this was when it was very unpopular to have a food truck many moons ago, and then we were making really good money. It was like really surprising, like how much money we were making. Like it was like a secret cash cow. And so this person came up and said they wanted to buy it, and you know, I was young and I was married, and this is before I went to college. And I still had my hopes and dreams of going to college, and my ex-husband, or the husband at the time, didn't really believe in my entrepreneur spirit, ex-husband. So sorry, don't throw you on the bus. But, you know, someone came to offer to buy the business, and, you know, I was kind of like, so, okay, we're going to sell it. My dad's like, don't fall in love with the business, fall in love with the money. And that's sounds like, but you know what, that's true. Don't work your ass off to work your ass off. Work your ass off to end up having the money so you can enjoy life. What I ended up doing, I wanted to get another restaurant in another location, and everybody was telling me that's a bad location because there's a restaurant inside the mall and there's a restaurant in the corner. You know what? Who's in that spot right now? Another Mexican restaurant, and it's been there ever since, and it's probably been 20-something, 30, close to 30 years. And so, you know, my life wasn't meant to be there, so that's okay. I'm here now teaching you lessons I've learned, lessons I've seen from my father, lessons I've seen from my community. I love the podcast, business talks, and when they're talking, like, I'm just like, it's like eating a chocolate dessert, because I love the intellectual conversations and stimulating talks about business and ratios and turn and burn and churn. I love it. So if you are a business owner, if you inspire, and there's a couple of people that I reached out to I'm just finishing up some things because I'm actually giving away all of my systems right now, so I can have the validations, and we could do some videos and some talks, and you could give me your transparent experience, so people can know like what I have to offer is truly a value, which I know it is. And so yeah, that's what I am doing. That's what I've been working on. I was initially going to do it, try to start it like at a podcast level, talking about business, but I decided I want to be proactive, not reactive in everything I do. Like, how are we going to get this done? What are the risks? Who's involved? The Reiki. What are our challenges? What are obstacles? Like, there's things to evaluate when you're making moves, and just coming in at the back end and saying, this is how you fix it. That's not how you do things. Even when I was in college prep, like, the reason why I became successful and was able to get a college education is because I learned in college preparatory program, I learned how to be a student. Isn't that crazy? Like, I was a junior in high school, and I learned how to be a student. And that's how this dyslexic person was able to get a master's degree. My dyslexia comes in just very randomly, so I've even overcame it because of my diligence in wanting to learn. And I know there's different levels of it, so I'm not discrediting or insulting anyone or saying that this is a magic cure or whatever, but just want to let you know, like, go to my website, read what I have, talk to people, tell them to give me a call. I want to welcome you into my community. Let's build this community together. I'm here for you. I have your back, and I hope you have mine. Thank you for watching this video to the entirety, and stay tuned for any of my apps. I will be waiting to the perfect, and I got to stop being that way. So I'm gonna launch some of them hopefully this weekend, and thank you.